You've got to shoot this bit, Margaret. You've got to shoot it.
The locals could be a little bit frisky, a little bit too much cha-cha going on sometimes. And trust me,
nice.
I've even had fun in Norway.
We always want the Swiss woman who's mopping around your feet to think you're in the British ski team.
We used to get dragged through the downstairs windows. They have a drink called cha-cha. They do like a drink or 12.
So, listeners, welcome to our 11th edition of the season's Whiteout podcast. Can't believe it, already 11th edition. I'm Dom Killinger, I'm publisher at InTheSnow, and I'm joined by my co-host, who's, oh my goodness, Rob, I can see your background. You're actually in the resort, aren't you? I can't believe it. Where are you?
Yeah, I know. First, it's podcast 11. It's not even Christmas yet. I am actually in the Alps at the moment. I am in Wengen in Switzerland, which is lovely, as Wengen always is.
Good snow?
Snow's pretty good, actually. Very good snow on piste. It was snowing yesterday. It's forecast to snow today. Pretty much snowing down to resort level.
Wow.
But not cold, but snowing down to resort level. So yeah, snow was great yesterday on the piste. Fresh snow on the piste.
Lovely.
Lots more snow than there was last year at this time. Loads more. People are very happy. Yeah,
I bet they are. We've got so much to do today, Rob. Lots going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting this week. I've been with a group of first-time skiers, and it's really cool, having a great time. So
yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, I can remember the first time I skied, Rob, and you just feel completely hooked. that constant exhilaration. You get on those slopes. I can remember the feeling so well, and yet it's plenty of time ago. It just feels fantastic, doesn't it? It must be great seeing new people trying out and experiencing that with them for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and also the cool thing about Wengen is so much history here as well with the sport. From the British that came here over 100 years ago, started ski clubs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's not the worst place to start your skiing journey.
That's for sure.
Anyway, what about you, Dom? You're in the UK, are you? You're still in the UK?
I'm still sat here, Rob. I'm still sat here. It's the weather's been rubbish. It's wet, drizzly, rainy, miserable. There's no nice, cold, crisp air for Christmas. So, to be fair, outside it doesn't feel very Christmassy.
When are you off, Dom? Come on, when are you off? When are you off?
Well, after Christmas, I'm going to head out to Aosta. As you know, I'm heading down to Pila, and they've got pretty good snow at the minute. So, should be nice. Might pop into Chamonix, might pop into Avoriaz. We'll see on the way back. But definitely going to have a few days down in Pila, and they're looking pretty good at the minute. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
Right. What have we got in the news today, Dom?
Well, before we get into the news, Rob, it's time to mention today's sponsor, Ski Independence and Canada's Alberta. So the team at Ski Independence have been sending customers to Alberta's ski resorts for almost 30 years. With oodles of personal experience, they know all the best places to stay, the best travel options, and everything in between. From Banff's best après-ski locations to breathtaking scenery at Lake Louise, or how to get the best out of a multi-sensor itinerary. They highly recommend road tripping up the spectacular Icefields Parkway between Lake Louise and Jasper for an experience like no other. So visit ski-i.com/Alberta to find out more about booking Canada's Alberta with tailor-made specialists. Ski Independence. Yes, our friends up at Ski Independence, they took me on one of my first ski holidays. So you being out on somebody's first ski holiday there, Rob, it's all brings back a lot of memories and very good indeed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So headlong into the news this week, Rob. Plenty going on, lots going on as usual. We've been foraging around for those little stories to find out anything that people might not have heard of.
Yes.
And did you hear about the new Bogner store in London? Can you believe it?
I did, actually.
So big German sports fashion brand Bogner announces its very first standalone concept store in London in collaboration with the Birdland Group. It opened at the start of the month, actually. It's 5 stories situated in the heart of Mayfair. Obviously, it's going to be in Mayfair. It's the only place you're going to be selling bundles of that stuff. Wow. So, Bogner, established 1932 by Willy Bogner in Munich, Germany, celebrated for its fusion between fashion and functionality and worn by icons such as Lady Di, James Bond and Taylor Swift, and Rob Stewart, of course. No doubt you've got some Bogner in your wardrobe, Rob. Have you got anything from Bogner in your wordrobe?
I'll tell you what, in this hotel I'm staying in, I've got Bogner toiletries, which is pretty cool.
Have you?
It's about as close as I'm getting to the Bogner brand at the moment.
I love it. Well, what you'll find in this new store, the likes of Bogner's Adele down jacket, £2,500, and the Misha ski overalls. This is on a full-on one-piece ski suit in bright pink, obviously, £1,695. So yeah, it's not your typical mountain warehouse kit, but if you want to stand out and make a statement on the slopes, there's nothing quite like a bit of Bognor. So that's 14 Dover Street, Mayfair. Got to be the place to visit, Rob. That's your next Christmas present, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm going to pop in there definitely next time in London. I do love a bit of Bognor, and I know I've been into the store in Munich before. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, this story, Thomas, it's one of those stories that we kind of like. A CO2 groomer starts to roll out on the slopes.
Nice.
It's a company called Prinoth. It's launched the world's first electric snow groomer. It's emission-free and it can help ski resorts reduce their ecological footprint. And it's started to be bought by ski areas around the world as well. So it's called the Husky E-Motion. It's been on the market since last year, and it's been bought by ski resorts and cross-country centres in Norway, Sweden, France, Italy, and the USA. The Husky E-Motion is emission-free. It's even more powerful than the diesel model as well.
Wow.
It delivers 245 horsepower, apparently,
Right.
and a torque of 1,000 NL. I don't even know what that means, but a lot of torque, I think.
Yeah.
It's got a runtime of up to 3 hours. Good for cross-country trails.
Wow. I mean, it's got to be a great development for ski resorts there. And, obviously they're often accused of polluting the environment. Actually, ski resorts can be very sustainable. And I think increasingly they are more aware that it's in their interest to be so. But, I mean, it's got to be the natural progression, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it is. And it looks seriously fun to drive too. What have you got in store, Dom?
Well, art in the Alps, Rob. Soubretta House in St. and Les Arcs.
Oh, yes. I have been to Soubretta House. Lovely place. And Les Arcs, yes.
Yeah. Not always the most obvious place you'd go to look at artwork, but a couple of things we spotted recently with which would paint a different picture. Haha, ba-boom.
Very good. Yeah.
So Soubretta House in St. proper bucket list hotel, offering an artistic twist this winter with various exhibitions for guests and other resort visitors to enjoy. They will host a complimentary photo exhibit called, are you ready for this? Photographs by Young In Lee for the entirety of the winter season. So a Korean artist whose work is represented in many collections and museums, such as the Metropolitan Museum of New York and the Seoul Museum of Art. Additionally, winter exhibitions include the art exhibition by Gallery L, so Winter Wonderland, showcasing work by Yanni Leonen, if I'm saying that right, and Philippe Pastor in collaboration with Robilant and Viona. Crikey, I've got all the difficult ones here. Available for viewing until the 1st of April 2024. Crikey, 2024 already, with an antique vintage jewellery exhibition by Oscar R. Stefan, showcasing from the 13th to 18th of February. So very cool things to see there. And then over in Les Arcs, the French artist Sape, known for his frescoes found around the world, unveiled a new piece of work painted directly on the snow at over 2,000 meters in the mountains of the Paradis ski area. So that's super cool. Work entitled Encodes consists of 2 creations made with 100% natural and eco-friendly charcoal paint. That must look super cool. So each of the 2 frescoes covers an area of 1,000 square meters. I mean, that has got to look so cool. I'd very much like to see that. So yeah, super impressive. Helps to celebrate the 29th anniversary of the Paradis ski area. And obviously that links Les Arcs and Le Plan. So very cool.
Yeah, nice. Okay, well, good to know that art is to be found in the mountains as well. So, right, next up is our weather report, Dom. Let's hope we haven't been framed on that front.
Like what you did there, Rob. This week's weather roundup is brought to you by Ski Weekends, the flexible ski holiday experts. Choose from 10 fantastic catered chalets and over 100 hotels in over 40 resorts. You can stay as long as you like with skiweekends.com. Yes, I've known Ski Weekends for many years, so and actually they may well be the ones that are looking after me over New Year in Avoriaz. So
nice.
I'll be sampling one of their chalets up in Avoriaz, so that should be pretty nice. I've seen some pretty nice snow reports coming out from them, so they've been helping us with our weather this week. So let's start with the general situation in the Alps. December, to be fair, has been a little bit up and down, but generally snow's been pretty good. There has been patchy rain conditions, but overall the snow conditions are very good in most places. And as we head into the Christmas and New Year period, I think people are going to get generally pretty good ski conditions down to a pretty decent level. There's been snow falling at altitude in the Alps over the last 24 hours, with resorts in France, Switzerland, and Austria seeing snow at altitude, possibly rain lower down. Some forecasts said up to a metre might fall over the last 24 and 36 hours once this latest storm has passed. Freezing level around about 1,000 to 1,250 meters. So let's look at Morzine and Léger, for example. There's great conditions on the slopes. You can ski down into Léger. That's about 1,200 meters. Below that, it's probably a bit tricky, isn't it? So I mean, it's probably going to get a little bit wetter below that. But in general, the Port du Soleil area is in pretty good shape. Over in Austria, it's very much the same right now. Conditions in Kitzbühel area are very good on-piste skiing. What about Wengen, Rob? You've already said that it's pretty good conditions there, yeah?
It is. I skied down into the town of Wengen yesterday. No problems at all with that. It's been quite windy. Today there's snow and wind forecast. But actually what's going to happen over the next couple of days is all of that weather is going to settle down. It's going to become quite sunny and quite sort of pleasantly, not warm, but certainly not cold. So quite pleasant conditions for the Christmas week here in the Alps. So I think anyone coming out for Christmas and New Year, they're going to get good snow conditions and also very nice weather as well.
Yeah, well, we've also heard from our friend Scott in Lillehammer, Norway, who has said there's world-class conditions, the best he has ever seen for many, many years. And he's been there about 16 years. So great conditions across Scandinavia for sure. Over in North America, they generally haven't had a huge start to the winter yet. So high pressure dominating right now. So in the Rockies, it's quite pleasant, not too cold, but cold enough and sunny. So good skiing on groomed trails, and like it always does, the big snow will arrive at some point. And then over in Japan, we've been saying they haven't had a great start and it's been quite mild. It looks like things have changed there now as normal service resumed. Tons of snow about to fall, they reckon about a metre in a week, and just seems to be keeping on coming. So definitely looks like going to be a good power January over there. So Japan are going to get it as well. So in general,
they are.
Conditions are looking pretty good overall.
Yeah, I was checking out the Japanese snow reports this morning, actually, and it just doesn't stop at the moment. So pretty cold, below freezing temperatures, and just basically snowing every day, and lots of it as well. So that's good to see. Yeah, America. I mean, it's still a little bit sunny over there. It's cold enough to make snow and all that kind of stuff, but they're not getting the dumps on the west side that they had last year, but they've still got some good skiing. So excellent.
Very good. Right. So on to one of our favourite bits,
gear section.
Yeah, exactly. We love a bit of gear, don't we?
We definitely do. Yes.
So first up, we've got Helly Hansen winning 3 ISPO awards. So ISPO is the international trade fair for winter sports and outdoor gear. They've won 3 awards at ISPO. So the Escape Down H2 Flow Parker, drawing from Arctic Experience, blends technical finesse with urban adaptability, apparently. And then the Odin Everdown hooded jacket showcases Thin Down, which is their thin insulation and recycled nylon, delivering lightweight warmth and tear-resistant durability. So that sounds really good as well. And co-designed with the Norwegian National Alpine Ski Team, the Kvitvel Race insulated ski jacket features 4-way stretch, Reco reflectors, and life pockets, which is the thing that keeps your mobile phone warm when you put your phone inside it, or anything else that you want to keep warm. So that's super cool. So, top tier performance for ski enthusiasts across all ski levels. And, these innovations typical of Helly Hansen. We've got a colleague out in Whistler testing some of their latest gear, came back absolutely raving about it. So, really, really nice. Very, very good and well-deserved winning those 3 ISPO awards for Helly Hansen, for sure.
Absolutely. I'm going to talk about the Arc'teryx Academy because it's now back again. And it's returning to St. Anton in Austria from the 1st to 4th of February. So you can experience 4 days designed for skiers and snowboarders, all levels. You can engage with elite athletes like Victor Daviet, Sylvia Moser, Sam Cooch, and Tatum Monod. They run these clinics there. And there's a mountain retreat that's offering an opportunity to refine your abilities against breathtaking landscapes, I think they say. The Free Ride Village showcases Arc'teryx gear, partner stands, dining, film premieres, athlete talks, workshops. So, yeah, they also say immerse yourself in a celebration of mountain sports and community, an event uniting enthusiasts and professionals. So that is the Arc'teryx Academy in St. Anton from February the 1st to 4th.
I bet that's very cool. That, I mean,
on
the similar sort of lines of the thing out in Whistler. I mean, really, really nice.
Right.
But, great gear, Arc'teryx for sure. And the other one is Bodie Miller joining the brand. I think
Win. Funny enough, Dom, I'm actually wearing a Win top at the moment.
Typical Bodie Miller joining a brand called Win. So US.
Well,
Olympic...
I'm in Wengen, and he's a massive legend in this place. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Bodie.
So he's joined as a global ambassador for the Italian brand's technical underwear. Soon to be launched will be the new line of Win underwear, as we now know it's called, signed by Bodie Miller. So Bodie says, joining the Win team was a natural choice. I've always been interested in sustainability and products with the highest level of performance. Technical underwear is decisive for thermoregulation, blood circulation, and the overall comfort of the athlete. I've spent most of my life outdoors, on the slopes or in nature, and I've learned the decisive importance of underwear. Have you ever thought about the decisive importance of your underwear, Rob?
Well, I'm thinking about it right now as I'm sitting here in this hotel reception lobby with the woman mopping up around me as I speak, and I am in my underwear. So yes, I think it's quite important to get that right.
You've got your Win underwear on. So they're already at work on a signature edition of Nation 3.0 underwear, the iconic model chosen by the national ski team. The Nation line, signed by Bodie Miller, will soon be available in the Win stores and on winsports.com. Anybody wants to look that up, it's UYNsports.com. So made with Natex biofiber from castor beans, would you believe? It features the latest technology for temperature regulation and freedom of movement. So a line inspired by champions to feel like champions on the ski slopes, Rob. So there we go. Win underwear. That's the one that we've got to get.
Well, it is. And I must say it's very, very snazzy top that I have on now. It's actually the top that they're supplying to the British ski team as well. British ski team top.
So you're walking around pretending to be part of the British ski team right now.
Yeah, basically. But the woman that's mopping around my feet currently probably thinks that I am.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We always want the Swiss woman who's mopping around your feet to think you're in the British ski team. So, what have we got this week for our resort focus?
Arapahoe Basin, Tom.
Arapahoe Basin in North America, in Colorado. So this week we were super lucky enough to catch up with A-Basin's Director of Operations, Louis Scovera. He was a top man. It was earlier this week. That was good, wasn't it, Rob?
Yeah, that's right. It's always good to get first-hand knowledge, Dom. He was really selling the place to me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. This place, it is a skier's mountain. It is a destination mountain. It's not somewhere where you go and stay and have a week's stay in a resort or walk around shops. You arrive there, you park, you put your boots on, you go and ski that mountain. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I get that. I really want to go there. It sounds great fun. And of course, so easy to sort of bolt on to those other big Colorado ski resorts, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we drove up there from Breckenridge. We'd been to Vail. We'd been to Beaver Creek. It's all within striking distance, so easy to drive up there. As you say, if you want to be visiting multiple Colorado resorts, A-Basin is so easy. And I think it was about 10 minutes from Keystone. So, and that's a proper full-on resort owned by Vail Resorts, loads of shops there and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, A-Basin, let's hear from Louis Scovera, who we caught up with earlier this week to find out exactly what's going on behind the scenes at A-Basin.
So, super lucky today. A-Basin, that place in Colorado, well, maybe not a place that everybody would immediately think of, but a place that I visited last year, and absolutely what a skier's mountain. Rob, we've got an expert in today. Louis Scovera, Director of Mountain Operations. What better man can we get on the job today than to ask a few questions about A-Basin? Louis, how are you?
I'm well. That's a very kind introduction. I'll try and live up to it.
Very good. And Rob joins us today. So this is Rob, my co-host at the Whiteout podcast.
Hi, Louis. Rob. I'm really good, Dom. Yeah, really good. Excited to speak about A-Basin. Yeah, a place I've never been to I'm afraid, Louis, but I've heard lots and lots of good things. So yeah.
Yeah. No, we'd love to have you out. Yeah, anytime.
Cool.
Good stuff. So before we get started then, Louis, for our listeners' sake, tell us a little bit where you're located in Colorado.
Yeah, sure. We're about 75 miles west of Denver. So smooth sailing, it'd take you about an hour and a half to drive up here.
That is close, isn't it? Yeah, that is really close to Denver. I didn't realize it was that close. I mean, for me, it's a bit of a legendary resort. I've heard so much about it over the years. Your strapline is legend for a reason, right?
Yes, sir.
So why do you use that strapline? What makes it such a legend?
No, we've earned that reputation over a long haul now. So the ski area opened in 1946. The focus here has always been skiing or riding. And you'll come here and we won't have the frills of a resort. We have everything you need. We don't have lodging, for instance. So that really changes the dynamic here, I think. And we're really focused on the skiing experience, the snowboarding, riding experience, however you get around on a mountain. And that has certainly ingrained us with people who are in it to ski. Maybe not wearing the fur coats. No knock on fur coats, by the way, but you don't see a ton of that here. It's not the resort environment that you might find at a Vail or some of the larger operations. So we found this really nice niche, probably by accident a long time ago. And then over the last 20, 25 years, we've really been leaning into that. So again, not to rip on anybody else, but the bigger resorts will really pack people in. And that can make for a tough ski day where you're waiting in queues all day. You won't find that here. And we just want to be on the radar and let everybody know that if you want a really, really good day of skiing, you should come here. This is the place you want to be.
Louis, it's been great to talk to you. Thanks very much for today.
What? Are you suggesting that we're going to go? We're just going to leave this and go there now, Dom? We've got time today to make it.
Exactly.
That's what you say. Forget the rest. We're coming. I remember last season when in the podcast, pretty late on, we were talking about a Basin. Actually, you were still skiing. Well into late spring, I think it was. Just from memory. I mean, like you've got a really long season, and it does feel like sort of just stop talking about skiing there, and now we're talking about the start of the season again. I mean, just sort of for the sake of our listeners, what are the actual? Do you have official opening and closing dates, or does it not work like that? And how long is your season?
Yeah, I mean, we go for several months. We really do try and ride it out as long as possible. We see that as something we can provide to our guests. And certainly the value proposition of buying a product here at Arapahoe Basin is we're going to give you the most skiing we can. So we'll open as soon as possible and we'll stay open as long as we can. Typically that is mid-October-ish.
Oh, wow.
And we'll run it out through mid-June. Every couple of years we make it to the 4th of July. And that's certainly a target for all of us on the Mountain Ops team is making it to the 4th. That is a big win. For our team here. Dominic, it sounds like you saw it in the spring. I'm not sure exactly when you were here in the spring. That tends to be our best ski session, I guess, if you want to say it that way. March, April, May tend to be spectacular. The weather's perfect. We have everything open. We have a great snowpack. We can do all this because we're very high. So we're situated right on the west side, the west slope of the Continental Divide. Our mountain tops out a little over 13,000 foot. Sorry, I can't do that in meters. I'll let you guys worry about that. But 13,000, it's a lot. It's high. So clearly we stay cold and we stay dry. So even when things get spring-like, you don't tend to have icy conditions here at all.
First week of April, I was there and it was cold and the atmosphere was great. Had that real sort of parking atmosphere. And it is an absolute skiers mountain. It's a destination for people to come to. It's not somewhere that people are staying down at the base. It is just a base station with parking and all the essentials, which was absolutely great. And you obviously work there. Do you get a chance to get out and ski? I mean, do you get out there yourself? Do you get an early morning skin up and ski down or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm lucky in my role. I have every excuse in the world to be riding the chairlifts or checking out the grooming or checking on the snowmaking or touching base with ski patrol and seeing where they're going. And you can't really do any of that well if you're not out on the hill. Our mountain it's a medium-sized mountain, modestly sized. You'd call it small relative to Breckenridge or Copper or Vail. But this is a mountain. I've been skiing here my whole life. I've been working here almost 20 years. This is a mountain just chock full of the nooks and crannies. So you can ski here every day and you're finding new lines all the time and new places to ski in.
I remember that area, the Beavers. That was my favorite. All the little runs down there. That was fantastic.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, really, really nice.
That was a really fun project. I was lucky enough, timing wise, to be pretty involved with that. So the Beavers is our most recent expansion. I think we opened with a chairlift in 2018. I might be a year off on that. It took us about 2 years to cut all the trails out there. So as you saw, Dominic, 2 main groomers going down, and then we gladed out all the other trees, and cut 25, 30 gladed ski trails in the trees, intermediate to advanced level stuff.
Yeah.
And we're really proud of that work. It was a big project. It took us a couple of years, like I said.
Absolutely.
Just on the point of the new area and everything, and just mentioning the trees and all of that sort of stuff, because in Europe, if you're talking to people here at that sort of altitude that we've been talking about just now, the altitude that you're at there, we wouldn't have any trees at all. Right.
Yeah.
So, you've obviously got a very, very high tree line. Do the trees go all the way up the mountain, or is there a little bit of stuff without trees as well?
Yeah, it's one of the cool parts about our ski area is we're about half below tree line and roughly half above. So you get a little bit of both, on a windy, poor visibility day, you can retreat down low and have a chance. And then on those bluebird days, which we have a ton of here in Colorado, as you know, the high alpine skiing is where it's at. The vistas are beautiful, big open groomers, steep groomers. We put our snowcats in some pretty tricky spots and they pull it off. They do a great job for us. But certainly in the spring, I don't know if you noticed that, Dominic, we have a lot of the high alpine groomers, big open bowls with a groomer strip kind of going through it. Along with that Beavers expansion a couple of years ago, we opened an area called the Steep Gullies, just west of our existing ski area. The Pallavicini chair is a really popular chair for us. It's a religious experience for many of our diehards for sure. Is the Palli chair, and that terrain is rad, and it's technical, it's steep, it's fun, it's challenging. Just to the west of that, a series of couloirs that have historically been called the Steep Gullies. We pulled that inbounds as well, and that was largely a safety thing. People were using our lifts to access this out-of-bounds terrain that was very serious. I mean, very full-on avalanche terrain. And we brought that inbounds now. We patrol, maintain, and control that area. And again, just
you make my job sound so boring. When I'm listening to you, I'm just mesmerized. It's like, I don't know, some kind of a movie. I mean, you talking about this, and I know, like you've said, you're not the biggest mountain in the world and the biggest ski area, but how big is the team there that's running that mountain?
Yeah, on the mountainside specifically, we probably have about 150, 170 employees. So that's ranging from lift ops to lift maintenance to patrol, grooming, snowmaking, who, we're lucky, many of whom have been here a long time. That goes a long way. Certainly when you're dealing with tricky avalanche terrain, technical terrain, it's good to have experience out there. And we're very lucky to have a really experienced team, really experienced leadership, many of whom have spent their time here like me. I've been lucky enough to just work here.
Interesting that you've opened up that terrain, that very, very steep terrain, to bring it within the ski area boundary that you have there. And for some of our listeners that are looking to come over to the States, it's a little bit different the way that you control that area compared to, say, in the European Alps. But obviously you run things very differently. So you say this is your ski area boundary, right? This is where you can access within our ski area, where we control that terrain. You have to take responsibility, I guess, for that area. You can say to your customers, arrive at a basin, like, this is where you can ski today or not. You clearly will say to them, this is open, but this is closed.
Yeah, that's correct. We do things a little bit differently here. And yeah, we open and close terrain. We certainly use a lot more rope than you folks do. But when we determine that it's good to go, we're going to give it to you. It's different.
I get how, it's different. And it's really cool to be able to go into that terrain and go, you know what, there's someone here kind of watching my back as well a little bit.
Yeah.
I know that I'm in a controlled area. So I don't see that as a negative in any way at all.
Yeah.
Sure. So when I visited, I stayed down in Silverthorne. Would that be a normal place for people to be staying if they're coming from the UK, for example? Would that be their normal sort of base? Because that was really nice.
Yeah, that's convenient. So I live in Dillon, which is just next to Silverthorne. So Dillon, Silverthorne, Keystone are probably the closest towns to us that they are. Yeah. You could stay in Frisco. You could stay in Breckenridge. Yeah. That would be a 25 minute drive each way. Yeah. Or stay over in Vail. And we're we're 45 minutes from
Yeah.
Vail, roughly,
Yeah.
driving clear roads. So
Yeah, I
So
came
we're-
up there from Breck, actually. I came up from Breck
Cool.
to you. So it was an easy drive, and stayed down at
Easy.
Silverthorne, found a great restaurant there. So it was a really nice, convenient stay. And then literally 10 minutes up the hill to you. So that was perfect.
Yeah, talking about Colorado ski country as a whole, just a little bit narrower here in Summit County, Colorado. I mean, you have Copper, you have Breckenridge, you have Keystone, you have Arapahoe Basin. Loveland is just over the pass in Clear Creek County. Vail, like I said, 45-ish minutes. Beaver Creek, 10 minutes further than that.
Yeah.
I mean, you come to Summit County, you stay in Dillonsay.
I've skied them all.
and you're going to ski them all.
I've skied all of those. That's amazing.
You skied them all? Cool.
I've skied
That's
all of those.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
right. That's super cool. Really cool.
Right, Louis, if you could ski just one run in Arapahoe Basin, what one would it be?
Oh, man.
One trail.
Okay.
One trail, you'd say.
One trail? Jeez. Okay. I'm going to dodge this question and give you a couple answers. So within the main basin of the ski area, we have an area called Lenawee Parks. That's intermediate to advanced skiing, but really rolly and natural features, like natural half pipe type features. It's just super fun. Really good snow. It's favored by our predominant winds. So even when it doesn't snow, it blows in really nice. There are a ton of trails within Lenawee Parks. All right, if you pin me down, I would tell you Dragon is my favorite run in Lenawee Parks. I'm going to get made fun of for that. That's a blue run, but that's okay. When we get the east wall going, that's our hiking terrain, kind of overlooking, looming above the main basin of the ski area. It's a pretty straightforward 25-minute walk up to the top of the ridge. And then from there, you have your pick. And there's some great shots up there for sure.
Is that graded as a double black diamond or something?
It's a double black diamond. Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah. And it's a tough hike. You might be sucking wind a little bit, but it's very manageable. And there's nothing technical about the hike. It's a really cool experience.
Are you going to be sucking any wind today, Rob?
Unfortunately, not today, Dom. Not today, as I sit here talking to you.
Louis, I think that's been fantastic catching up with you today. I mean, it's obvious that when people come to a basin, like it is very likely if they're coming from over the pond over here, they're going to be visiting many of those other resorts you've talked about.
Yeah.
There. And a basin is without doubt. I mean, I came there and it's a vastly different experience and a great experience. There's no two ways about it. And it had that real sort of fun atmosphere, and the staff and everybody, it did feel like you're almost coming into like a very fun sort of family atmosphere of all the staff knowing each other and getting on and having a laugh. And, there was a couple of beers and that sort of stuff. And it really did have that sort of great vibe about it. And talking to you today gives me that sort of real tingling up the spine. I'm sure for you, Rob, who's probably more of a, you enjoy that sort of more technical terrain and that more backcountry, it's probably somewhere that you would, really, really enjoy going to see. It's a great place.
Yeah, especially if I can go there in May.
I know, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's fantastic, Louis. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm sure you're going to have a great season ahead. We will catch up again soon.
Okay. Thanks a lot for having us, and look us up when you get here to A Basin. We'd love to tour you around.
Good stuff.
Well,
thanks a lot, Louis.
Thanks, Louis.
Okay. Thanks,
See you.
fellas.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good one. Bye.
Bye now.
Great stuff, Dom.
How good was that?
It's definitely time for me to get over that way, isn't
You've
it?
got to get over there, Rob. I mean, that is so a bit of you, that place. It is definitely along the more challenging lines of skiing. Not, you don't have to be an expert by any stretch, but it's definitely more challenging skiing there. Yeah. And I mean, so much opportunity there. It's just a great hill to go and ski for sure.
Love it. And he was great, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can't beat talking to somebody who's actually in resort. So,
Dom.
bestest time of year, we thought instead of a normal bucket list destination, this week we thought we'd talk about our top ski destinations when it comes to après, Rob. I'm sure you must have been doing some après this week. Sounds like it in your voice.
Does it really? Yes. Well, it's the beginning of the season, isn't it, here in Wengen, and people are very excited. And I was actually, last night, I was in the downhill only club rooms having a little drink in there with the downhill only club members.
Oh, I like it. That sounds like a bit of fun.
Great place.
Sounds like good stuff. Well, we thought we'd talk about our top 5 après destinations as our bucket list destinations as we head into Christmas and New Year for people to celebrate. What do you think, Rob?
And it's a tough one because, like skiing itself, it does come down a lot to different factors, such as the people you're with, particular atmosphere in that place on the day, and what sort of mood you might be in, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But there's definitely a bunch of places where your chance of catching good après buzz is pretty high, and it'd be rare that you're going to walk out there without having a good time. Let's maybe take a look at some of the classics and a few alternatives as well, Rob. So what's your classic après ski go-to resort?
Well, yeah, well done. I mean, I've been lucky enough to experience significant amounts of après ski over the last 35 years. And some real classics as well. The likes of Ishkill, the Goat Stall Bar in Hinterglen, it's a completely insane place. Dick's Tea Bar, Val d'Isere, these really famous places. The Red Rock Bar in Queenstown, a bit of a legend. And last season, the Fully Deuce in Avoriaz. And trust me,
Nice.
I've even had fun in Norway.
Oh, sure.
The list is way too long to go through here. But for me, I spent quite a lot of seasons in the resort of Verbier, and it probably holds the most memories for me, and that's so important, isn't it? And it is a great après-ski resort.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got the pub Montfort. It might be a bit more upmarket these days. We used to get dragged through the downstairs windows because you couldn't get in the place back in the day. Sort of thing. It was mental. It's a great pub. It's still a great pub. Farinay, you've got the Farm Club. They're all legendary, and I'm not so up on it these days. I don't go there very often, but I know it's it's still renowned for its après, and deservedly so.
Yeah,
you kind of need quite deep pockets if you're going to go and party in places like that. I'd say maybe go to Pas de la Casa or Arinsal if you want to have a fun alternative on a budget. But I think it's a great ski resort to party in.
Well, we've got some pretty good choices there, Rob. You've definitely covered all bases there. So I think I'm probably going to go down the sort of slightly cliche route. In fact, I'm probably going to snag two resorts here. I think Tignes and Val d'Isere. I've spent a lot of time in those resorts, been going there for probably 14, 15, 16 years. I stayed in a great little hotel last year, the YNYCIO Hotel, Yincio, I think they call it.
Okay.
So that's in Tignes. It overlooks straight on to Cocoricho. So Cocoricho is almost like a mini Folly Deuce, isn't it? It's like a mini Folly Deuce, but such good fun. People dancing on tables. It's always good fun, always live music. And that hotel was looking up pretty much out down the slope to Cocoricho. So that was a really great location. They've got one in Val d'Isere as well. So I think heading between Tignes and Val d'Isere, you mentioned Dick's Tea Bar for sure. And then obviously you've got the Folly Deuce between the two and Cocoricho. I think for me, that's the resort of choice if you want a slightly quieter evening and still a bit of good après. There's some great hotels there that you can come down to, have a few beers at the end of the night on the front there in Val d'Isere. Yeah, that's got to be my choice. I know it's a bit cheesy, but that's my choice, I'm afraid.
No, it's good. It's great. It's got so much going on there. Right, nice one. Let's look at these alternative places then, Dom.
Well, alternative. What, that bit of off the sort of wall place? Well, this might be a bit of a one that maybe you haven't heard of, but I'd probably go to Mad Trappers in Banff Sunshine. So do you know that?
Okay. No.
Okay, so Banff Sunshine, it's up the gondola from the base station. So there's no real shops there or anything like that. So it's not a resort base. You've come out of Banff town. You've got Sunshine Mountain Lodge, which is the only hotel on the slopes in Banff. And right next door is this old place, Mad Trappers. I think it's been there for decades. It's a proper Canadian saloon bar. Come the end of the day, it's pretty much nowhere else to go for après, especially for seasonaires who are living up in Banff Sunshine because they're not coming down to a resort level all the time. They're staying up there. So this place gets a bit lively. It's very good fun. It's real full-on Canadian stuff. It's not so much the sort of dancing on tables brigade, but it is proper, big screen stuff going on with the ice hockey. They've got beers flowing and it is a lot of fun. The music's on. Definitely for me, Mad Trappers, Banff Sunshine, a lot of fun.
Good. That sounds great.
Yeah,
that sounds really great. Okay, so for me, I'm going to mention the country of Georgia. It doesn't really have a party scene like the Alps, but they do like a drink or 12 over there. The wine is amazing. It's great value. They have a drink called cha-cha. It's basically a grappa. They just drink it like water. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's often on the table like a jug, like a water jug would be. Wow. It's amazing. That's ridiculous. But they love it. There's good little bars in Gdańsk, ski resort of Gdańsk, country's sort of most commercial resort, closest capital of Tbilisi.
Okay, yeah.
And then if you manage, it's not far, a couple of hours drive from there. If you manage to make the trip to Mestia, it's well worth it. But I mean, it sometimes feels easier to get to the moon than to Mestia, but it's kind of part of the charm. There's some really fun local bars there. It's so cheap. The locals could be a little bit frisky, a little bit too much cha-cha going on sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
But Tbilisi is very upcoming, very cool, very hipster. And I love the sort of bars and the vibe there. It's really, really cool place. So yeah, that's my alternative après-ski place.
That is
Country of Georgia.
That's a properly off the wall one there, Rob. That's a long way to go for a bit of après, isn't it? Sounds like good fun.
Yes.
So that winds
Sorry,
up
Dom.
our Christmas episode, Rob, our 11th edition, just as we run into Christmas, just a few days before Christmas. When are you back from Wengen?
I am traveling back today from Wengen, so I'm going to drag these first-time skiers up the mountain this morning. If we can get up there, the weather is snowing out there right now, and it's quite windy at the top. So we'll see how that goes. They don't know any different. It's like yesterday. People that live here were saying, "Oh, that was a bit of a challenging day, wasn't it, to bring beginners up onto the mountain?" The thing is, they just think that's normal because they've never been here before. They were loving it. They were loving it. It was snowing. Couldn't see a great deal, but they were like, "This is brilliant." So
I remember my very first experience of a resort was Morzine, would you believe? Beautiful town, and that's come on a lot in those 20 years. And I remember some people arriving slightly later than us. They arrived in they told me they arrived in a hire car. And this is no word of a lie. It snowed so much overnight that when I came out, I said to them, "I thought you said you'd come in a hire car. Where's your car?" And they it was completely buried. And that's how much snow there'd been. And consequently, I just thought, well, that's what happens every day in a ski resort. Every night, this is how you ski.
Right.
Every night,
Yes.
It snows so much, it covers all the cars.
Right.
And I genuinely thought that every night in a ski resort, that's what happened. Maybe 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, maybe it did. But yeah, so there you go.
I mean, I do remember some winters. I had a car out the Alps one winter, and it snowed so much that it buried the car, and I didn't need the car, so I just left it. And I literally forgot where the car was for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I was like, and suddenly I needed the car, and I had to dig it out. And it took me about 2 hours to dig the car out. And I found it under this pile of snow. And you know what? So it completely wrecked the shock absorbers of the car were knackered because of the weight of snow that was on the car for that long.
It's the sort of amounts of snow that we all love. So, well, that's it for this week before we run into Christmas. Thank you very much to our listeners for supporting us over this year. I had a lovely little roundup from our podcast host this week. Apparently, we've been listened to in 64 countries, Rob. Is that even possible?
Wow.
I didn't even know there were. I mean, that's incredible.
Half the world.
That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how that can even be true, but there you go. It is. And can you get this? This is unbelievable. We're in the top 25% of podcasts worldwide when measured the amount of downloads within the first week of release. So, Rob, we're doing something right. This has got to be cool, isn't it? It's got to be celebrated.
I'm really happy to hear that, Dom. I'm really happy to hear that. And, long may it continue, I say. I mean, we just like talking about skiing, right? That's why we're doing this podcast, because we like talking about skiing. And if people like listening about skiing stuff, brilliant.
Exactly. So long may it continue. So listeners, please do leave a review. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, very easy to go and leave a review for us. And it's not just for our vanity so that we can read this thing. It is so that other people can find us. The more reviews we get, the higher we're pushed up when people type in, find me a podcast about skiing. So Rob, have a safe journey back. A Merry Christmas to our listeners and a Merry Christmas to you. And we will be speaking in the new year.
Thanks, Dom. Have a great Christmas.
Cheers, and to you too. Safe journey back.
Mais non, talkie-walkie.
I'm pretty sure it's called a walkie-talkie, mate.